Okay, so hi everybody, and welcome to the digital marketing blab show. We're here every Friday at 7 p.m. and we talk about your website marketing challenges and technical challenges. So if you have questions, if you have a website that you want us to review, just enter your domain name in the chat area or enter your question, and we will be happy to help you out as much. So hi, Robert.
Hey guys.
How are you?
All right, so I'm your host. My name is Amel. I'm an SEO and web analytics consultant. I help entrepreneurs and small businesses improve their website traffic and conversion using SEO and web analytics. And I have with me my co-hosts. We have Robert and Pam, and they're going to present themselves in a few seconds. And today we have our special guest, Micah, and the topic of today is online reputation management. So I'm going to let my co-hosts present themselves, and then you can go ahead, Micah, and present yourself and conversation. So go ahead, Pam.
Okay, hi, I'm Pam Gomez. I'm in Nassau, Bahamas. I'm an aspiring aromatherapist, but I help people achieve good health and wellness. Right now, my biggest challenge is building my list and rebuilding my website, but it's going well. But thanks to my friends in this community, it's been easier than most. That's me. Robert?
Me? Okay.
Yep.
My name is Robert O'Haver. I've been a SEO consultant and search engine marketing for 13 years, and host of Search Talk Live, which is every Tuesday at 3:30 Eastern Standard Time.
Cool. Well, nice to meet you all. My name's Micah Fisher-Kirshner. I've been doing SEO pretty much for almost a decade now. I came originally out of the agency world, and for a couple of years, and I've been in-house ever since, usually at larger scale websites, from comparison shopping engines to marketplaces. So that would be Become.com and Zazzle. Today, I work at a company called Zendesk, which is more of a B2B space play. So since then, I do a whole variety of SEO, usually focused around the technical area, but also very big about mixing in together a variety of different organic online marketing channels. And I've done that as well in the e-commerce world for that purpose.
Okay,
Thank
guys,
you.
I'm fixing to share with Twitter. So when I count to 3, everybody make a crazy face. Okay, so it makes people share it more. Okay, 1, 2, 3.
Micah, you're really good at it. All right, so thank you, Micah, for joining us today. And I know we are going to talk about something not so different from SEO, because actually online reputation management has to do with SEO. At least that's how I approach online reputation management. So I really want to talk to you. I mean, I want to ask you some questions I have. And first of all, the first question is, because I have Pam with me, and Pam is new to, let's say, to the digital marketing world, and she's building her website, and she's learning all these technical things that we need to do to design a website, to create content, to do on-page SEO, and all this stuff. But there is the topic of online reputation management is very important, and not a lot of people think about it. So my question to you, so that Pam can understand, and other who are viewing us here, the importance of online reputation management. Can you please define it and explain why it's so important for an entrepreneur or a small business to take care of their online reputation management and manage it the right way?
Mm-hmm. So online reputation management, is just, in my opinion, kind of one of the ways you'd look at it as a brand protection play. There's the kind of consideration of how people are talking about your brand, how directly potential customers, actual customers, even competitors, review sites, things that is a place where on the internet, everybody is essentially talking about you. And I kind of differentiated a little bit with brand, because brand is how you like to present yourself and your products and what your voice is, whereas reputation is more how are you reacting to handle the issues that might come up. How do you prevent a lot of the or mitigate or prevent for the future the problems that might occur. And as a whole, usually reputation management has a pretty negative area when it comes to the online world. It's probably one of the few things sometimes people joke about that's sketchier than what people assume with SEO. So what I like to do is try to think about what are the ways to turn that around and use it in a very white hat or legitimate way that plays a part to how your business is seen and talked about. That's often sometimes outside of you.
Great.
So, all right. So we are all here technical in a way, but the question I have for you is so that Pam and people who are listening to us understand the importance of in terms of SEO, how online reputation management can affect your SEO in a way so that you can really think of incorporating that strategies. And Robert also he's an SEO search marketing. So I would like us to go ahead and give our own input about reputation management too. So go ahead, Micah, and then we can join you.
Yeah. So one of the ways to look at it is people are out there. They're going to be searching not just for your brand, but they're going to be looking at comparisons. If anybody who's really doing a due diligence of understanding what they want to buy, what they want to purchase, what they want to sign up for, is probably going to be looking for a competitor. And so oftentimes that means brand A versus brand B. That's a search. In turn, are you going to just sit back and let others dictate that conversation? Or are you going to try to go out there and in a open public way to say, hey, here's our view about this on this subject? Having content, having a stance, working with others to present why your brand is better than another is a way that's going to be helping with your SEO, because you're going to be ranking for these types of queries. That's kind of the purpose behind that. Now, that's whether you are a much larger brand down to the local area, as long as people are essentially searching for it. So that's one of the ways. Now, part of that as well is that outreach side, as you're working to explain, work with others to say, hey, can you review our product or service, and comprehensively, no kind of under the table or any of those kind of black hat stuff. That is going to improve, give you more connections. It's going to potentially in the long run give you the links, the publicity, and better rankings in turn as people get to know you. So it's kind of forcing you to be out there versus sitting back and just trying to do a one-way conversation to potential customers.
Cool, thanks. You have experience with maybe helping a client or doing online reputation management in any way?
For myself?
Yeah. Robert.
I think where the big fail is on this is people doing complaints and stuff online for companies. Companies try to run the other way instead of actually addressing issues with customers, and that is where they should be going, because as a customer, if you're addressing an issue, that you might have had a bad service or whatever it may be, the other customers see those reviews, and even though it's a negative, they're going to see that you care because you're responding to those and you're taking care of the issue. You know, and maybe if you have to take it offline, like, hey, call us and we'll figure out something. We want to make you happy. You know, you don't have to air all your dirty laundry out there, but just make sure you address them. And I think that's where a lot of people fail.
Do you agree, Micah? I mean, did you have work on building a strategy for specifically? I don't know what's the right name for it, but save a client or like from a bad reputation.
Yeah, not only that, I ran a team of analysts that sole specific job was around reputation management. So the way this was essentially I like to think of it as a cost saving measure. And I think a lot of companies don't focus in that regard. They're very good about spending money to make more money, but they don't often focus on how do we make sure we save money for the company where we don't lose revenue, we don't lose potential customers. And that's sometimes a harder proposition. It's harder to justify from an ROI standpoint. And I think having somebody who can put together examples of where this will actually affect the bottom line with dollar value is one of the things that I was able to justify and thus have a team for and build and be able to take companies I either worked for or helped manage to go and face complaints head on and develop various ideas and strategies down to the tactical level of what needs to be done for those businesses.
Yeah, another good thing I see certain companies, they have social media monitoring tools where, you know, if somebody mentions their brand at any time, they're on it in like 5 minutes. Like a good example is Amazon. When I told you about when I paid for gift wrapping and looked like somebody just threw tape on it and, you know, wrapped it up without actually wrapping it. I put a complaint on Twitter with a picture of the gift wrap, and literally within 3 minutes, they were on it. They were like, "Oh my God, we apologize. Please give us a call." And, you know, they sent me an email, and they refunded all that money. But I mean, they were on it. It's so important.
And it's a reason why for a lot of cases, people will, even nowadays, will choose Amazon, even if it's a more expensive option. The ease and the customer service they know is for the most part going to be pretty good. Mm-hmm. Barring all the latest issues and all that. But in the news, kind of the hacking.
I use simple tools as well, the free ones, like, you know, Google Alerts. I want to know about people talking about me or my show or anything like that. So I put up a Google Alert, and then anytime somebody mentions me or and Google indexes that page, I get a notification that says, "Hey, you know, this person's written an article about you," or something.
Yeah, and and on top of that, you know, if you're good with Excel, then feel free to build your own dashboard to encompass not just the social media feeds, but things that matter to you. How are you showing up in search results for your brand queries? How are the review sites and all your star ratings doing over that time? And if you're, say, in service or e-com world, how do you, in the US at least, how do you do the BBB? Those types of things, keeping and monitoring and tracking all that together is going to help showcase how things are going.
Yeah.
I was just in the corner listening to what you were saying, and there's a couple things I've been using. I've been experimenting with lists, and I wanted to know who's talking about aromatherapy, who's talking about essential oils. Those are the persons who have an interest in essential oils and aromatherapy, and I've created a couple lists using IFTT. It was new to me about a week ago, and I have created 8 lists since then. I just went crazy.
That's actually a good way to use this tool, which is if this then that, which is short for IFTTT, and it's a good way to actually monitor your dimension of your brand online, and it's good to use it as a tool to really manage your online reputation, which is really important, Pam. I'm happy that you did that.
I didn't think I would use my company name because it's a new business. As an entrepreneur, I don't think Au Natural Aromatherapy is out there yet. But there are people who are talking about essential oils. There are people who are talking about aromatherapy. There's people who are talking about health ailments. I could go after a specific person who have migraine headaches and share with them solutions that I have, or some other sort of ailment, sinusitis or pain, or someone who's just always depressed. I could go after them with, let's say rosemary or some other essential oil that can benefit them, So that tool to me was my godsend this week.
That's really good. I'm glad that you found it. It's easy to set up actually. So, and there is already recipes there, but you should add your brand. You should add even your Twitter handle, and you should.
The Twitter mentions, yes, that's one of them.
And what else? Yes, go ahead, Robert. Sorry about that.
Oh no, go ahead. I had something. It's on topic, but not what she's talking about.
Go ahead. It's okay.
I wanted to make about negative comments, stuff that I had. For example, I'm not going to name any names, but I had a client that got in some trouble legally. He's a doctor, and his practice was his name.
Okay.
The name of his practice was his name. So anytime you typed in his name, guess what came up?
The negative and the positive.
The news, the stories, the headshots. I mean, everything. So. And
that's horrible.
It
destroyed his business. I mean, it was his dumb mistake, but it destroyed his business. So that's one thing I would like to talk to you about.
So go ahead and tell us what you did to save him in a way.
There was a lot of. I did a lot of offline begging.
Oh, really?
Contacting news outlets, media outlets, saying, "Look, you're killing my clients, customer or patients. And I would meet it. I'd go to the news stations and have all the documentation together because his case, in fact, got dismissed. But we had to give documentation before they would actually take that information off. But Google would not de-index it. But now it's gotten a lot better. They've pushed those sites down a lot more. So you don't see headshots as much anymore, but you still come across stories and stuff. But what I did was I did a lot of citation stuff with local search and all that stuff. Anything that was under him, under the bad press, I would build links to and push that stuff up. So it would push all the negative stuff down. I do blog posts, all that stuff. I mean, you name it, but it took forever.
Oh, it took a long time, huh? Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead.
After that, I vowed to never do rep management again.
It's definitely a rough industry on its own of having to handle all of those things. Not going to deny that.
Yeah, but I got most everything removed just by talking to them, and then the stuff I didn't get removed, I just pushed down in the certs. And we lost a mil.
You did?
Uh-oh.
Oh, wow. Well, she'll be back. She's going to refresh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Wellington has a question. Is Facebook going to be a search engine?
I would say it already in some ways.
Not in the sense that you think, like Google, but essentially it kind of is.
Yeah. I've used it, for example, to kind of help out PR team or your friends in your networks. this was a few years ago when it was still pretty new, and I don't know if they've tweaked it since then, but you can basically friends who like X. So if they're, let's take your aromatherapy business. How many of your friends like a lot of the things that you mentioned? So you can use that to see about who to reach out to or who's in the business from a PR standpoint that might be relevant to yours, that might be interesting to outreach to. So when you think about it from that standpoint, which even LinkedIn has now, that you're doing a search. Right. You're searching through your network to find either their friends or the friend of a friend to help your business. And what better place to outreach to than those who know you?
I got to add something there. It's funny that you should say that, because I was just in a conversation earlier today about friends and family. Even though my business got started with friends and family, I've come to learn that they're not necessarily the ones that will buy from you, because they are friends and family. They expect you to say, here, it's yours, you know? So my target market has to be outside of my friend and family circle, you know, because, and that has, I mean, that's a two-sided sword. Some of them may buy something, but in most instances, it's like you got a cold, go to Pam. She'll take care of you. And it's been that way.
Yeah, but bear in mind, it's not necessarily your friends that are buying, but it may be the friend of the friend.
True.
So, and even if it's not them buying, it might be a person who's going to be an influencer to talk about your business.
And referrals.
Others.
Come on, Pamela, you got to take the Amway approach.
Go create. You never disappoint, Robert.
Sorry, disconnected. My Firefox just crashed, so I had to restart everything. And it reminds me that I have to add Robert as a co-host. Here we go.
You know, it's funny. I've been having so many technical issues this week. I think I should mention this here. I had a scare on, it must have been Wednesday or Thursday evening. I did upgrade to Windows 10 in December.
Okay.
And it was a free version. So I thought it was all good. Well, in the middle of my work on Thursday, my screen just blanked out. I said, what the heck is going on here? I checked everything. I checked my malware, my, what am I looking for? The virus protector. Everything was up to date and fine. Then I discovered that the Windows 10 operating system just went out. It was telling me to activate it by putting in a code. I said, what the heck is this? I have no code. So I rebooted everything, walked away from the computer for about an hour, and then came back, and everything was fine when I got back. What do you think about that? It was weird.
Yeah, there's been some quirks with the system, that's for sure. But
that was the most.
I love it.
I do too.
I'm enjoying the latest version, but I've run into a couple of hiccups here or there, but I guess I'm just used to these hiccups.
My biggest hiccup was the integration of Outlook. When I had to move my email from one provider to the next, I still have this issue where my Outlook has all these extra folders, and it's telling me that on these folders are only on this computer. And it has the normal folders there, the sent, your draft, and your trash, and what have you. But then there's like 4 or 5 different folders that just seem to be replicas, and I can't get rid of them. I've called Outlook support, but they don't seem to know what to do.
Hey, you guys know that? Sorry. Go ahead.
I can help you with that, Pam. I didn't change yet. I'm still with the That's why we have a few questions, guys, if you don't mind. We are
Sure.
going to review them here. We have the first question was from Wellington. Can you hear me well, guys? Is that an echo? You can.
It's okay. And we already talked on Wellington's.
Okay, cool.
question.
So let's go to the next question, which is from Jeremy. And Jeremy has some trouble with managing projects. And to be more precise, is to managing all the nonsense from clients. Yeah, so, all right, so graphic versus computer versus social versus promotions. I'm not big enough to put one person on each. So let's start with you, Micah, if you have any tips maybe or strategies for him to help him out, that would be great.
So managing all the nonsense.
It needs a little more specific.
Yeah, that's probably a little more helpful. And I've been out of the agency world for a bit, so most of my time has been more of having to manage my coworkers.
Okay, so basically he's saying how to scale efficiently as we grow. So you can take that, Micah, or?
Yeah, those are essentially tools. That's probably many of the ways in which I do so, and whether it's figuring out what solution is going to be best for this set situation. A little obvious plug here for myself for where I work. With help desk or customer service, there's Zendesk that can help you scale. So rather than having to do that manually or using kind of a built-in system that's probably pretty old, our system allows you to kind of scale, and it's pretty simple to use. So it's thinking about kind of those tools that can help out. Myself, it's sometimes getting to go more technical. So if I'm using Excel, what are the other things that might be able to help me out more? And it might be a plug-in to Excel so I can run regular expressions. And those are the systems that are going to make my life a lot more efficient. Those are the kind of ways that I'll look at it and try to help on that side of it. If it just comes to having to deal with bad clients, that's a whole other story. That's just hard. And I think we can let Robert kind of handle that area since you kind of work in that area.
Actually, I don't have too many client complaints. I can't talk.
Of course, you can't say that publicly, but if in the work, no.
I've never had complaints about my work, but I've always had complaints about how long it takes, and that's SEO. So, and I tell them pray to the Google gods, So
you have the altar there, right?
Yeah.
Talking about. Go ahead.
Just to answer, which is an HCA.
Jeremy, yes.
It's Jeremy?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Jeremy, you can talk about some of that work to some other, some of those platforms that are around, like, I don't want to call the first one that comes to mind. Say that, Robert?
Hootsuite?
Hootsuite.
Social?
Yeah, you could do Hootsuite, and you could also get a VA to help you.
A V8?
No, a virtual assistant.
A virtual assistant, yeah.
I could have had a V8.
Don't be a bad thing now. Just remember, Robert, you're my Friday night date. Stay on cue. Oh.
It's interesting that we're talking about project and SEO and online reputation management, because some actually, and the definition of one of the definition of online reputation management is actually reverse SEO. Because what we're doing actually, we're looking at we're reversing everything we're doing, what we're essentially doing when we're doing an SEO strategy to promote positive content. We're trying to, instead of ranking the rankings, like trying to push down the negative rankings that are out there and push our positive rankings there. And obviously, does require some knowledge in project management, because you need to do social media. You need obviously SEO, but we use SEO in our social media strategies anyways. And you need a lot of content. You need a blog to outside of your own blog, where you can go and publish more content and rank that content too. You need your LinkedIn, your Facebook, all these social, social profiles that you have, and you need to, publish all positive content about your company on these places, so that you're actually populating and dominating the search result with positive information, positive content about you, your brand, and your company. And in fact, it does require a lot of, being organized, and it does require to manage the project properly. And if you're doing it for clients, like for example, Jeremy, if you are managing online reputation for other people, you really need to maybe focus, if you can outsource, like Pam said, if you can have a VA, and outsource the things that you don't like to do. If it's social media to that person, but be precise. What I mean is be detailed. Tell her exactly what you need and how to do it. And then you can focus on what you like to do. That's the best way to actually grow, because you're talking about growth. It's to focus on what you're passionate about, what you're good at, and leave what you don't like, to delegate that to other people. Yeah, go ahead, Robert. I'm going to look at the chat box. Go ahead.
The other thing is, don't try to be on everything. Like,
exactly.
If you're on, pick 3 of the top social media, such as Twitter, Facebook, maybe Pinterest or Instagram. It depends on your market and who your demographic is, but just pick 3. Don't try to run all of them, because you'll run yourself into the ground.
Yeah,
exactly.
Schedule a day where you do nothing but write. If you're a blogger, if you're writing blog posts, schedule a day where all you do is write blog posts. And then the next day start posting those, and schedule those to be posted, and auto set those up for tweeting or with Hootsuite or something, or you can use that time to, if you set it up right, you'll have plenty of time.
Yeah, and really is read up and learn about how people can be productive. What is it that gets people to be able to do inbox zero? How can they accomplish that? What's the setup, whether it's in their Outlook, their Gmail systems, that allows them to be effective? For myself, it's how I separate out my general emails and my tasks. My tasks don't stay in the email. If they stay there, I'm never going to get and feel like I've done anything, because it's just filled up. And it's one of the ways that works for myself, that I feel more productive, and I can answer people quite fast comparative to those that generally don't do this.
Yeah, and if you have an account that you opened up, it looks bad if it's not being used. So pick 3, and then you're giving better customer service to your people, your followers and all that stuff, and it's much better all the way around. Did you see the comment that she 13 accounts?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, that's actually that's a lot. Yeah, you know what you can do actually. What you could do if you have 13 and you're only focusing on 3 or 4 or 5, you can actually use the tool that Pam is using right now, the IFTTT. Yes, and what you can do, you can connect few of them together, so that when you on your WordPress, it goes to one of the profiles. You don't have to go publish everywhere, but what it's good is to keep these 3 that you're focusing on, and use them to really make sure that you publish high quality content and positive content about your brand, your products, and or services, so that these 13 profiles can help you with your online reputation management. Keeps you really in a positive vibe online, in a way.
Lots of good information, guys.
Sorry, Robert. Go ahead.
Yeah,
I just said lots of good information.
Exactly, really. I've learned a number of shortcuts this week, and it was because of me starting the website over. I think in my quest to get it done quickly, I found a number of shortcuts and setting up those scheduled posts, and because I couldn't keep up with building the website and my posts and building the list all at once. So I had to automate a lot of my functions this week, and it's paid off. It's paying off.
Yeah, there was a great post. What was it? I think on XKCD, which showcased how much time you should spend for each task up front in order to save X amount of time down the line. And so I wish I probably need to find that post. But it's a great way to think about it, is that you're going to spend, let's say, a few hours up front in order to save you a week, 2, 3, 4 weeks of time in total. So sometimes you just got to do that upfront work.
Actually, Buffer is really good, and they have. Here's the thing: if you download, excuse me, always get confused. If you download the how they call it, oh my God, the plugin they have for your Firefox, bookmark. That's what they call it. Okay, so if you download Buffer, and then if you want to share something, click on the bookmark. You will have the advanced option where you can schedule all your profiles in one place. So you can schedule Twitter, Google+, LinkedIn, and Facebook in the same window. It's like a pop-up that shows up on your screen. And what's good about it, you can actually select if you want to publish it right now, republish it in 3 days, and republish it in 5 days, and so on. And you can go as long as really far as you want, 3 months from now. And one thing that I do, and now I have my VA takes care of that because it takes really long time to do it. But you need to do it first yourself, because that's what makes you an entrepreneur, or a business owner, or a website, owner or manager. You need to do the stuff yourself first, to understand why you're doing them and how to do them, so that you can delegate and hire someone and give them the task. So what you need to do when you're rescheduling, like 3 days later or 5 days later, try to change a little bit and edit your posts, not copying and pasting the same information every time, but you're actually changing it. It's going to help a lot. Yeah, my audio is bad.
Any other questions from anybody in the chat?
Is it better now?
Would anybody like to come in a seat? I like Buffer auto schedule feature.
Wait, there's no room.
I'm gonna hop out.
Oh, I can do that. I can leave.
Everybody does. I'd hop out. I see Christian's here. Christian's a regular.
Hey, hi, Christian. Yeah. So I have some other question about online reputation management. So one of them, hopefully you can answer me, Micah and Robert. So from your experience, from opinion and experience, so what are the key elements of successful online reputation management?
Stay on it, monitor it, and be on it. I mean, be there to answer questions or response to negative comments or anything. Just be there and have your ear to the track, so to speak.
Yeah, being there, knowing the channels which your customers are using, and having that network who can help you out, whether that's personal life, if it's your own business, to a network of fans of your product, your company, and whatnot. Because you don't have to go through this alone. When you get to the point that when something bad happens, or not necessarily something bad happens, but you've got detractors and now you've got people defending you as well, that's a good sign that your business is heading in that right direction, with having people to help defend you. So your company isn't the only one having to make the case.
The other thing too is, one thing we didn't mention is if you're a business online, you really need to get the good customers, ones that are happy, your team, your tribe, as everybody calls it, to give reviews about your company. Those things are going to help your site rank better. It's going to help, I mean, all the way around, especially in local search. So the more reviews you get, regardless if they're negative or positive, even if on Google My Business, you can respond to those things and be there regardless. Even if it's a thank you for giving a good review, or if it's a negative and you say they're saying something went wrong, be there to answer it.
And the thing is, don't try to push out or drown out a single negative review.
Right.
It makes you look more real, more human. People trust reviews where there are at least a few negatives in there because, let's be honest, no business, no person is perfect.
And they read the negative as well as the responses too. So they will see that you care about your customers if you respond. If you ignore it and try to hope it goes away, that's bad. Now, if it's something that's been there a while, like, excuse me.
Like 5 years ago.
Like 5 years ago, don't touch it. Don't respond. It's too late. But if it's something new, get on it and be there and fix it.
That's good. That's a good actually follow-up question for you, and actually an advice too. It's usually people think that it may not happen to them, and it does happen because we can't make everybody happy. So your customers or your clients or your patients, for any reason, they can be upset about your service or your customer, anything that happened, and they can go online. It's super easy now with their mobile phone. It take them few seconds to tweet about your service or to go and review your service on Google Plus and say something negative about you. So what you need to do is to have like a plan if that happens. Like, what should we do first? How can we respond? Like, what is the right action? So that when it happens, you're not surprised and you're not shocked, and you don't know how to approach that negative, review or negative situation.
And don't use a single form template. That's or not. I shouldn't say that this way. Don't use a single response for so many different things. You might want to start with a template to try for different situations if you have to deal with a lot of them, but always vary that. If you're using the same. Using the same form of commentary, you're going to run into the issue of people noticing, and people are going to just assume that you then truly don't care. And so you need to have it for different situations and know how you want to respond for them.
Yeah. And it should be really, and Emil, you're big on this too, but in your email, your workflow, your conversion flow, so to speak, in your sales, after the sales complete, send them an email. How was your service? How was your your product? Are you happy with it? If you're happy, please go here and leave a review for our website. Yeah. That should be a part of the whole thing.
I agree. It's we need to actually teach ourselves to go and ask for that feedback, that positive feedback. And this is it goes for everything, your website or LinkedIn or even Twitter. Ask for a shout out, ask for, if they're happy with the fact that you helped them, or they're happy with your service. Instead of asking for something specific in return, just ask them to, okay, if you're happy, just say that you're happy on Twitter or Facebook or LinkedIn. And that's one thing really important. The other one about online reputation management and negative situations, and it could happen on Twitter. Even if you say, I'm not a big business, or my clients are really small, they don't need that. Well, it could happen, and on Twitter, someone is not happy with when content that you shared or with your opinion about something or whatever. So how would you respond to that? You know what I mean? I don't know if it happened to you, Micah or Robert, like having negative feedback on social media and how you would go about, answering that and saving. And I don't know if it happened to you. And it's good, Pam, because Pam, it's important because if you learn it now, when it happens to you, because it will happen. Don't think that it will not happen. I'm just going to give you an example. I used to have, I always join SEMrush on Wednesday. So what I did a long time ago, I created a list, Twitter list for SEMrush participants. And I used the IFTTT, but I completely forgot about it, and people were added to my list for SEMrush. So one day, someone wasn't happy. He just said, "Why are you adding me to your list?" And I don't get it, and he was really upset about it. And here's the thing: he tagged SEMrush in the conversation. So now I became, not only, it wasn't just me and him anymore. It was him, me, and SEMrush inside, in one tweet. And I'm like, oh my God, I need to react to this, negative, I don't know, post without being negative. So I had to spin it and find a way to say, okay, this is a list for me to just keep up with the people who join and participate to SEMrush. But if you want me to remove you, I can do that right now. And I'm sorry, and I apologize. And I had to go and run right away and remove them. And the good thing is, excuse me, even the SEMrush had to join the conversation. And SEMrush had to apologize from their end too. And it became like a crazy tweet. But it could happen. So go ahead, Micah.
I was just going to expand upon that and take it to a different, similar direction, which is that not just from a personal standpoint, but from a business standpoint, those that are both detractors but admirers of your specific products, if you're able to take all that data and know what they're complaining about specifically for your product, you can use that to improve your product the following month, year, however long it takes for you to create the new version of it. You can focus on the things you're missing or improve the marketing of which people are enjoying, or finding areas of which you haven't talked about on your site and that people are asking consistent questions on. And so it's understanding not necessarily only just of the issues directly to your business, but and to yourself, but to your products, and how you can use those detractors back into a benefit for the future of your own business.
Yeah, that's really true. Thank you very much. We have some questions, so we're going to go over the first one, which is from Angelica. She was asking, is Buffer better than Hootsuite? I manage 2 clients, websites, and social media accounts too.
I think it's a personal preference.
I agree, Pamela.
I think it's a personal preference, really.
Micah, any feedback? Okay, so my feedback to you, Angelica, is to try them both. So give test Buffer, test Hootsuite, and then see which one has a more user-friendly platform. It's an effective platform in terms of how to schedule the tweets, and then keep that and just start using that more often. That's what I would say.
I personally use Twitter's platform, TweetDeck. And it serves its purpose. It does schedule tweets and everything else. I love it. For Twitter, anyway.
I'm using Commute It. Just recently, Commute It. I think.
Yes, Commute It. Yeah.
Commute It. And what it does is I select quotes, and it's been tweeting out my quotes daily, and it's been some really nice ones. My selection. I think was pretty nice, if I must say so myself. But I get comments, and people are now responding to my tweets that I don't even do. They're being done while I sleep. So it's nice to get up and meet a comment there because of a tweet that went out before I woke up.
That's good. Micah, any tool you're using?
Well, I mean, for the time being, I'm been focused over in the SEO side. So it's less kind of the social sphere. So I have more SEO tools. So it's not it wouldn't be fair for me to suggest any.
Okay. But from my end, I really use Buffer, and I use it to schedule in advance specific posts. Other than that, I use the same tool that Pam is using, the Commune It, which is good to engage with your community. So these two are really good. So let's move to the other question. Okay, the other question is from Diane, and she's talking about she's saying that it's difficult to make the top 3 pages for main keywords. Now we're all SEO experts, so we should be able to give her some tips and maybe ideas or strategies so that she can get her main keywords on the first page of Google.
Well, the first question we have to ask is your keywords highly competitive? And how long have you been at it?
And is your site authoritative enough compared to those that are ranking?
And optimized.
Ask a question, get 10 more questions in response.
Yeah.
All right, so we need to simplify that for her, or it's going to be too complex. So one option, yeah, because, you know, she's going to get confused and she will be like, where do I start? Okay, so she's a cloud startup.
So this gets into more of an interesting question to my mindset, which is that, are you looking to rank or are you looking to growth hack? Is it a do or die situation? So what gets interesting is if it's kind of one of those, what you'll see with some startups is they don't care as much about the white hat approach. And I'm not saying or advocating necessarily this is the right thing to do, but there's a lot of companies that started off doing some pretty sketchy stuff in order to make it. Reddit, fake their stuff. So, you know, at the beginning. And so there's just, you know, if you find a way, and sometimes it's doing a little bit of the black hat stuff at the start to get the business out there and then switching over when you've built it. Completely different mindset, though, when you've got a regular business. But if it's a do or die and it's starting out, you know, you've got different tactics available to you. And so you'll find that's sometimes the case in the startup world, is that they'll find something in that regard and use it for a set time period. Now, that said, for more conventional approaches, you're really going to have to figure out either how are you going to be better than everybody else or how are you going to stand out. It's gotten far more competitive, and depending on the industry you're in and what you're trying to target, it's not going to necessarily be easy. And
you're talking like software as a service or SaaS or cloud services? Okay. Yeah, you're going to have your work cut out for you. How long have you been at it?
Bring her into
Diane.
the chat.
Yeah. You want me to step out?
Diane, do you want to join the seat? We can give you we can open the seat. Okay, so Pam, if you don't mind, maybe we can switch. Thank you, Pam. And Diane, you just click on the open seat and you can join us. All right, cool.
Middle of cooking, but it was such a good conversation. I had to jump in.
Oh, thank you for joining us, Diane. It's really all right. So we're going to try to help you as much as we can.
Yeah. So you know, I work with actually a lot of cloud startups. So this is a new one, and it seems like tackling it over and over again, it just is getting harder and harder for these really broad topics and categories. And so I'm really kind of just looking at, you know, what can I do differently this time? What's the latest, greatest to give your best effort to getting the ranking up? And it is a SaaS. Well, I mean, it's either SaaS or PaaS. Those are the two, right?
Can you share a site with us or no?
Well, it's a new one, so yeah, I can say a couple of them. One of them is Accordion with an O.
Just one for now. I mean, you can put it in the chat. We can go look at it and give you a couple.
Well, why don't you do this? Do this one. Do Adair, A-D-A-R-I-T. Do that one, because that's probably the one. It's smaller, but it's they're wanting high growth scaling. Oops, it says Afar. It's A-D-A-R-I-T.
.com.
Yeah, I believe it is, or it's .net. I'm pretty sure it's .com. I'm in my kitchen. I'll be in there, my office in 2 secs.
It's very Salesforcey.
Right? Exactly. Almost done here, guys. Dinner.
Oh, it's okay. Diane, it doesn't seem that you have a blog. Am I right?
Yeah. So this is actually a new company that I'm just starting with, but I already anticipate, we're going to build a whole new, build out the site. I'm guessing I'm going to try to create, I don't know how much video impact has anymore, but we're going to do some repurposing of digital media, blogging. Yeah. We're going to do some webinars, live webinar stuff to tax some of that. And of course, we'll have white papers and a lot of free stuff on there.
It's good.
But what else?
Actually, you're saying it. You're saying all the top strategy that you need to go after. The first thing you need to do really is do a really in-depth keyword research and a competitive research. So go check what your competition is doing, the keywords that they are ranking for, and from there you need to create like an Excel file and put all that, like once you do all your keyword research and your competitive research, put them all in one Excel file, and then you look at the real competition. And what I mean by real competition, it's how many pages on the search engine are using your keyword in their content. Okay, so once you do that, you need to find a balance between super competitive and high demand, a keyword that has a lot of searches per month. So try to find one that they have a lot of searches per month, but they have medium competition to low competition. So that's really first thing first. You need to do a good in-depth keyword research.
Does it matter if you're searching by device, or does any of that matter? It's just a global search.
You can do a global search, but you may want to narrow it down as best as you can that fits for your market.
Because I always wonder if you could do it by device, because let's face it, executives, they're reading all their stuff off mobile devices. So is that another way to target more specifically doing it that way, or as far as delivering customers? Because all this is about delivering sales. This is a high growth, create revenue, specific charge.
Yeah, you may want to be careful, because also sometimes with B2B, B2Bs often lag behind in terms of how they're actually searching and buying. You'll find potentially that B2B, most people are using Google and desktop. They're not on the mobile, and they're not using Bing or Yahoo.
The tech guys aren't?
Only that. You can tell from your analytics, where that's coming from.
Okay. That makes sense.
So for how long the website is up now?
This is the first time they're scaling. All this stuff came from the original founder, so it's probably been up for a while. Okay. I'm replacing another marketing person, and so we'll see how this all goes.
So really mainly the first thing, as I said, it's you can use general terms, and you can use specific device names and an ID or whatever it's called. You can be specific, but you need to do a really good in-depth approach to your keyword research and competitive research. Once you do that, it doesn't stop there. You need to find someone super smart to really select and pick strategically the keywords that you're going to campaign for. And the best way to do this is to look at the keywords and read each keyword and ask yourself the question, what is the intent behind why people are searching for this specific term, and then from there the next question is, how can I write about it? So how can
so for an example, like some is just people that it's more information that's an educational but not a buy.
Okay.
All right.
Go ahead
and see what shows up on Google. that will give you an idea of the type of result. Is it a buy purchase? Is it
Oh, okay. That's good.
It can give actually quite a bit of information for you. So if it's heavily informational and they're showing pictures, videos, questions or people commonly ask, related searches, all of that gives you, Google is just holding it there to say, here's everything that people are essentially thinking of when they're doing this type of search. And that will provide you a ton of content in areas which you can go down and think about how you want to stand out in that type of result.
Diane, I've got a lot of experience in this space. What you
cool.
need to do, and I'm looking at your site, they're right. Keyword research is key, but look at your competition, your Blue Wolves and stuff like that. They're all, they offer the IT as a service, software as a service, all that stuff. Find out who your competition is. And I would, to make it easy for you, since you're not a person that's, savvy on keyword research, I would use a tool. I would use a tool like SpyFu. You could put it.
Oh, I actually just came across them. I didn't know how useful they would be.
You can put in your competitors' 3 websites, and you can do this with other services. There's a whole bunch of them out there, but I like to use SpyFu. But you could put those 3 websites in there. It'll come back with a pie chart, and it'll show you where they're competing for keywords, and it'll show you what some of the sites that aren't, and then what do they have in common keyword wise. And then you can get your list there and start from there. And I mean,
that's a great idea. Actually, I appreciate you saying that because I think that the hardest thing when you're working in a vacuum, and you don't have like these kinds of conversations, you don't know if you're missing something, like, and where people are kind of had some successes or they've cut the time down instead of making a lot of mistakes on the client's time. So I really appreciate that.
SEMrush offers that too. Right.
And here a follow up to what Robert was saying. Once you discover these keywords, you need to build a strategy for really each one of them. What I mean by that, you need to stay focused, work on like a bulk size list of keywords. So pick 10 or 20 and build a strategy for at least 6 months for these keywords. Okay, so I don't know how you have
this will work because we're really they're targeting vertical markets, so I think we'll have that ability to do that. So that's a great idea.
So what you need to do, you need to create a ton of high quality content using always these 10-20 keywords in different ways. So you can create what works right now, what has always worked anyways in SEO. It's press releases, and in your case, in your business, it's something that it suits you really well. So you can create a monthly, maybe twice a month, once a month, or twice a month. You can publish a press release about one of your products, but don't focus on the product itself, but focus on the benefit that these products bring to your clients.
So I would go out on the other side and say avoid press releases. Just because to me they haven't been useful for a long time. More of it is PR.
PR blogs and
yes, PR web. PR web.
I wouldn't use PR web.
I use PR Newswire.
I wouldn't use, for the most part, personally, like unless you're a pretty big business, I wouldn't use any of the PR websites.
So the key ones for me is blogs, webinars, and we're going to be ghostwriting for articles.
That's good. That's actually good.
Those are great. It's finding how to get out there in the networks. Who do you have that can get the connections to the influencers, whether they're journalists, fans of actual like large scale kind of well-known people, celebrities, people who are going to get the word out there. And I think that is what's going to have to help play a part of your content.
So let me ask you guys the really big question here. This is like all running around because people are like, no, Facebook doesn't work for B2B, but they are consumers, CIOs, and they have Facebook pages and stuff too. Is there any sense to any of that?
Let's put it this way. Facebook would not be integrating with customer service companies if it wasn't doing something for businesses.
Yeah, I know, but it's just so hard to, you know how tough it is to convince the clients that they need to be on Facebook when you're coming from a business to business technology. They're like, what?
Dave, you're in a pretty tough space. In the last 5 years, it's been explosive growth in that industry. And, you know, it's anything you're trying to rank for is going to take a long time. I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. A year.
So maybe what I should do is do the weighted more on the personal side as opposed to trying to do it on this search side. In other words, build a tribe-y kind of thing, you know, with a group, create a core list of people and keep growing it and just kind of selectively pulling in people and drive our sales through that funnel as opposed to trying to go the keyword search route.
But it depends, Diane, on your target market. Are they in social media? Are they on Twitter? Are they on Facebook? Are they on LinkedIn?
Well,
I'm sure they are.
They're mid-sized attorney offices that don't have a lot of a large IT department, and these guys come in and help them extract all the stuff that can go onto the cloud and put it in there and maintain them and give them a 24/7 tech support, that kind of stuff. So in some ways, they're probably searching for something like this on the internet. So it's kind of a shame, but there's other ways to reach out to those guys. They're reading publications, you know, that are IT, you know, legal, and we can grab them up that way.
Yeah, you can try to use LinkedIn. You know LinkedIn. It's a place to publish your content. And also, if you use LinkedIn the right way, you can actually join groups on LinkedIn. And because your industry, it's a lot of people who are like in IT, they are on LinkedIn. They all have profiles on LinkedIn. They use LinkedIn more than Facebook. So you need really to know where your target market is actually.
So I think what we're going to do then is move towards like a nurturing campaign. Like you said, like nurture them out of LinkedIn, nurture them out of these locations and then bring them in. Yeah.
The next step what you can do is to do really a search all the top web magazine and blog in your industry that your target markets are reading. So really, you need to learn more about your target market. Who are they? What are the type of magazine online they read the most? What social place they go to, and then join them in these places by publishing high quality content.
Yeah, so I think that'll definitely do that too. And I think the spy food is such a good idea because it'll also identify some of those things too. I think they'll
it will help you. Yeah. And don't forget, video marketing is in your industry is really good. You can actually rank really fast for good keywords using video, using YouTube mainly.
Yeah.
So if you just have to be creative in a way where how are you going to present the information through video, and if you do it right, you will get a lot of leads from there.
So one of the things I thought I'd do is target some of the trending videos and start having kind of content that kind of follows some of the trend stuff, and use YouTube and use social media and sort of find the cross section, the matching between all of those, and see if that helps increase, some of our locations where we find a bulk of our folks as well. Well, you have no idea how appreciate this, having three peers here to go yes and no.
Diane, another
recommendation
I want to give you is Haro.
I've used that.
Oh yeah.
In the cloud, in the cloud space, there is a ton of people looking for stories, and I just see it all the time. So I'm going through it every day. I would highly recommend trying to get stories in that because my co-host on the show just got on NBC yesterday.
Nice. What was the subject? Just curious.
It was actually about buying a home and getting married.
Oh, how cute is that? Yeah. Wow, that's 1 in a million. I mean, how many people are doing that?
That's a good
one. But you never know who's out there looking, and you can get a lot of good exposure.
Wow, this was really, really, it's probably one of the best blabs I've been on in a long time, guys.
Oh, thank you.
Appreciate all the support and help.
It's our pleasure. That's what we're here.
How do I get this out? I'm in the mobile thing. Oh, here we go. Let me tweet you guys out.
Where are you at, Diane?
Austin, Texas.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Do you have other questions for us, Dan? We can help
No,
you.
you guys were like so thorough. I'm like drawing a blank now. I had all these questions.
You can hit us up on Twitter.
I will. Thank
You can follow us on Twitter, and you can join us. We're here every Friday at 7 p.m. So you can come join us if you have more questions, follow-up questions. If you have a strategy, you're not sure how to go about it, you can come and join us and ask your question. Dan, thank you very much for joining us.
Thanks for being a
backup. You too.
Great
Thank
team.
you.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye. All right. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. We're like over the hour now. All right. Thanks, everybody, for. Okay. Do we still have a few questions before we leave? All right. How do you automate this topic? I really don't get your question, Evan Taxi. So if you can clarify it, that would be great, because we have to wrap up and say goodbye. So Evan, can you give more details to your question? Yes, no, no, yes. All right. Okay, guys, thank you very much for joining us today. Thank you, Micah, for us helping with your expertise. Thanks, Robert. Thanks, Pam. Thank you, everybody here for listening to us. Come back every Friday. We're here. We're here to simplify digital marketing for you, help you with your SEO, social media. Join us, ask a question, join the seat. If you have a website you need help with, or you have an idea, strategy, and you're not sure, please come join us and ask your question. We're here to help you. It's our pleasure. We have too much, geeky stuff in our brain that we need to, get out. So, and we have, hopefully, we're trying to have as much fun as possible at the same time, which is not that easy when we're talking geeky stuff. But thank you for being with us, and I hope to see you next week, same time, same day. So Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern time. Thank you, everybody, for your support. Thank you for listening to us, and thanks, Micah. Micah, the last words goes to you. Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you all for jumping in, and always be mindful of how you're being perceived on the internet, because it, both in a positive and negative way, makes a difference to where things go for you.
That's so true. Thank you, Micah, for your expertise. Thank you very much.